There has been an absolute dizzying array of interest into Meshtastic, a license-free communication method where you use your phone or other devices to communicate wirelessly. No internet, just uses the Bluetooth to access very specialized devices. It was, I feel like 2.5 years ago. Yeah, 2.5 years ago since I made my first video on Meshtastic using T-Beam devices. And since then, the number of devices has just gone up significantly. And the software updates to Meshtastic has been really, really impressive. Like, these are some of my main devices right now. I just finished 3D printing a number of these and setting them up with software. I made a video on that earlier this week. But I thought I'd make this video to be a concise ham radio crash course style intro into how to get started in Meshtastic cheaply and quickly. And so today we're going to be featuring the Heltec V3 board. That's the guy that's right here. It's about $23 on Amazon. And if you're doing this to make your own inclusive kind of network to be able to communicate with loved ones, family, friends, whatever, then you probably want to buy a couple of these. And you may want to go so far as to point your neighbors and friends at this board and have them go ahead and buy it too. Because what I'm about to show you is really, really straightforward and very easy. There are links in the video description to all of the links of software, the stuff off of Amazon for all the hardware you need, as a number of other things as well. So go check that out. And for those that might be a little gun shy into getting into the world of touching PCBs and all kinds of stuff like that, it's all pretty much done online. You don't have to download a flasher. You don't have to do anything special other than go to Meshtastic Flasher, which is right above my head, and then use the appropriate button press and plugging in a USB cable to make it all work. Let me show you how to do it. So from this little board, you've got two buttons and a USB-C. We're going to hold down the top button if you're holding it in this configuration with the buttons to the left. Hold down the top button and then install the USB or plug it in. And it should just show this red light and nothing on the screen. You should be able to see that. You can see that there. Now, from your computer, we're going to have the flashing website set up, and ideally, your device manager, which we've talked about on other radio videos, device manager on Windows specifically is a tool you use to show you which ports the computer thinks it has connected. In this case, you might want to bring device manager up and just have it sitting like it is right now, and then hold the button, plug in the USB-C, and you should see a new device pop up under ports, COM and LPT. In this case, you're going to be looking for Silicon Labs, USB to UART bridge, and then it'll be the new port. In my case, it's COM17 because I've done this before. Now, from the website device, you're just going to click Select Your Device from the dropdown, and we're going to be installing into a Heltec V3, which is the one that's right there. From the firmware version, there's nothing wrong with going with whatever the highest level stable version is. If you get a little spicy, you might want to try some of the alphas, but I generally just go with the stable, and then I hit Flash. Now, at that point, you're going to be greeted with kind of a warning, and it can be kind of big. It'll give you kind of what the software version description document is for what the changes are, and you can pull up GitHub in any time to look that up. But if you hit Continue, you're going to see something about baud rate. You can leave that alone. If you are using one of these devices, you got to hold the boot button, which is what we did. That's a little secret. And since it's a brand new device, I like to just say full erase and install. When you click erase and flash install, though, it's going to bring up a new pop-up. And all you need to do is click the button that matches to that COM port that's on your device manager. Again, mine is COM17. And then you hit the connect button. And once it starts doing that, you should see all kinds of stuff happen here. And it will be loading the device. You may see some activity on the device, but nothing's really going to complete or show up on the screen until it gets all the way done with that taskbar, and then you'll see the device reboot, and then it'll be connected. I'll wait for it to finish, and then we'll come back to you. It's not going to be doing that much interesting stuff while it's flashing, so you can just let it run. Now, once it completes, it should reboot, and then there you go. It'll pop up, and it'll say unset in the corner. That's because it doesn't know what to use for its localization. These are location-based. The software does need to know what country you're in. So I'm going to show you how to use the application now, and we'll be able to send our first messages to other devices. Obviously, if you have more than one of these, you're going to need to flash them all and set the location. And then once you do that, they should mesh together. Let me show you how to do that. All right, before we get started into all the fun with the software, I'm going to attach the coax connection that comes with the unit. I like the ones that have these little SMA connectors. Make sure you get a Heltec that has that. I have what I think are the appropriate ones linked to my Amazon store. Do this with the unit powered off. It kind of just goes over the top like that. and then you pop it into place. Now, once the antenna is connected, you're not going to damage the sensitive hardware that's on the unit when you start actually transmitting over Meshtastic. Okay. And it's going to turn on. It says unset. So we're going to have to bring in my phone and make our first initial connections. When you run Meshtastic for the first time, it might look a little bland here, but we're going to click on Bluetooth. And I already have a device turned on, which is this guy over here, which could be getting in the way of me finding this new guy. So I'm going to turn it off. And then boom, a whole bunch showed up. That's my case. You might see one or two or more, depending on how many of these you flashed first. But if you look right there, it's going to give you the name of it, which is going to be B928. And I see it. It's right there, B928. So I'm going to click on it. It'll ask me to connect to new radio. I'm going to say yes. And then over here, it should ask me to connect the Wi-Fi. Now, I have had this happen where you get in kind of this spiral where it seems to want to keep pairing over and over again. So I'm going to do this one more time. And I'm going to pull the plug on it, if you will, because I think we've got it set up and it's unhappy. So we're going to restart it. I'm going to unplug it and reconnect it. So we'll try to connect again. 164.080. Okay, so that worked that time. Sometimes that happens. I've found that if you try to immediately tether to it without restarting after the initial flashing, it might be a little upset. So just go ahead and do that. Now, the first thing you have to do is set the LoRa region. We're going to say US as the region here, United States. And we can use the presets as fine. We do want a default channel of long range and fast, which means basically if any other node gets within your sphere of influence that they can hear each other, they will mesh to broaden the network. This is good. This is all good stuff. And then you can intercommunicate with people that are possibly random to you. You can add encrypted channels in addition to channel 0, though, but it's generally recommended you leave the preset and you use long range and fast as the preset for that type of channel. The rest of it you can leave pretty much all default and hit the save button down here. So it'll ask you to save it. Yes, we want to save it. It will reboot. And there, it should sync back up. You may have to do another power cycle. Nope, it's good. Okay, so now we have a bone stock Meshtastic device. If you wanted to, you can go click on Settings down here in the corner and click on User right here. And then you could change the name. The long name can be 36 characters long. Right now, it's just something boring like Meshtastic B982. You can say whatever you want here, but I'm going to change mine to HRCC repeater. And I'm going to make it only 4 characters here, HRC 4. And we'll save it. If you are a licensed operator, you could select this now, but it doesn't really give you that many advantages if you're using your amateur radio call sign here. There are some things you can do with it, but right now, for getting started, you don't need to do it. Hit save. It'll ask to save. Pretty much everything's going to reboot the unit when you're at the settings point here. All right, so if we go back to Bluetooth, HRCC repeater is now there, which it's known in its BLE name still as B928, which is important because you're going to need to know that as multiple devices come online that you will be managing. Case in point, let's use my custom device here. This is a mesher device made by Tony G, who's the same one who creates these really nice 3D printed case models. So I'm just going to, on the base setup here, I'm just going to say, hey, or hi, and test, and hit enter. How about go? There it is, go. That worked, okay. So it's now meshed. I don't know why it's complaining about delivery, but it went through. Oh, high test went through too 6 seconds ago. Okay, so sometimes you got to give it a second because they're probably in the process of meshing with each other. Now, since this guy's synced over your phone to Bluetooth, and again, no internet, no cell phone, even though I have cell phone up there. This is all just done via line of sight over the antennas that these units have. Let me go to Messages, Channels, and I have only one channel set. This is that default primary channel, and I hit right there. And there you go, go and hi test. Oh, okay, hi mesher. I'll say hi back. So this is physically disconnected, right, between these units. I assume that there's some amount of distance between them. But if I send it, there you go. But I bet you probably want to know how to set up an encrypted channel. Am I right? Okay. So I've got my Meshtastic device here. This is the one we just programmed. I'm going to turn on my other unit. Now, this other unit has encrypted channels loaded on it. In fact, we're getting ready to go to Hamvention this weekend, so I made just a special load for everybody going out there. And I want to share it to this device. So all you have to do, if you're receiving encrypted channels, you want to load it onto this, is you just get the QR code from whomever created the encrypted channel and you scan it using your phone's camera. Yeah, that's it. You just hold your camera up to it, you see the QR code, and it'll say open in Meshtastic, and it'll load the channels after a click or two. It's really, really simple. I'll show you how to do that in a second, but I'll just show you how to make your own channel if you wanted to go that way. Hit Settings, Channels right here at the top. Now, we want to leave primary channel. You don't want to mess with that. Like I said, it's what allows you to just bridge connection to all the Meshtastics out there. So you hit Add Channel, and we want, let's go with 100 and 256. And we can change this key. It's just making a random hash for the key. You could set something if you wanted to. If you wanted to share a key, just share the key and have people add it. You could do it that way. But what we're going to do is we're going to name this crypto if we want to, okay? Now, this is going to be a secondary channel role. Don't do disable, just leave it in the way it is. You can do position requests if you want. You can do uplink if you want to. These are more advanced features that you can read about. But position requests are helpful if you, again, know the people that are connecting to that channel set and you're okay with them seeing GPS. Again, this guy has GPS. This guy doesn't. You can add them. It's not hard to do. Go watch my other video if you want to do that. And then we're going to hit save. So now you have a crypto channel that shows up. And again, you can go in and change the settings if you want to, but we're going to leave it. Now, if I go back to channels, the message button, I now have this crypto channel set up. Hey, and then if I type something out, this guy's not going to see it, even though they're currently meshed on the basic channel. It's just going to say waiting to be acknowledged, and no one's ever going to acknowledge the message because they're not talking to each other. But let's demonstrate what it looks like to actually talk between encrypted channels. So I'm going to go scan my QR code, and I'm going to show you what it looks like after I click the button. So nothing secret here. I'm just going to take my camera, and I'm going to hold it up to the screen with the QR code. It's going to ask me in Meshtastic to replace all channels. So that's what it shows you after you open in the application. Now, the Android app, and yep, there's an Android app, is going to work slightly different. There's going to be a bit different look and feel, but it's going to pretty much match. So if I say, okay, yep, save, it's now replaced all the channels. So now it should, if we go to channels, instead of it being that encrypted one that we named crypto, it's now tubers, because YouTube and Hamvention, blah, blah, blah. So now if I go into this and I say, hi again, let's see if this guy sees it. And there it is, hi again, from question mark, because they're not meshed up and I don't have location tracking set. So yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. That's it. You're now encrypted. Again, this scales in complexity if you want to go down the road of GPS. Some of you don't want to do that for location, which is totally fine. By the way, if you ever do install GPS in this, if you just click this button, actually, if you click that button 3 times, it should just disable the GPS, so you're running without GPS, and that's really nice. And again, for those of you that are going to run off a battery like my LiPo, if you hold down this button right here, it should put it in deep sleep, which is going to save a tremendous amount of power. Just hold it down for about 5 seconds, and then it goes into shutting down. Okay, so you got your whole channel set up. You like the way this is all configured, and you bump into somebody you want to add to the network, or maybe you're going to add another device to the network. Well, that QR code's pretty handy. It's the way that you exchange information on channels. So let's go to Settings, and let's scroll to the top, and go to Share QR Code. Now, you can select which channels you want to share. So let's say you had 5 different channels, and like the last 2 are the secret channels, only for you and your wife or those in the close circle. So you might want to turn off some of the channels and only share one of the channels. For instance, I just want to share, let's say, my primary channel if I had something different, or what the heck, we're going to share all of them. So I can then you notice it's changing every time I do this, right? See that? Isn't that cool? If you click share QR code and link, now I can share to people over text message. I can share the image to my computer. I could airdrop it to somebody. I could put it to Discord, whatever your phone is capable of doing. Or you could just print it, save it to files, do whatever you want. And then now you've got the QR code that somebody can just boom, there you go, and you're connected. However you want to use that, that's all it is. Or you could just hold it up and they can take a picture or use your phone off of their phone's camera to get that QR code and get it into their Meshtastic. Now, if you want to, this is, again, the cheap option, $25 for this right here. And if you want to print a case, or you know a friend who has a 3D printer, or if you'd like something a little bit more high-speed, low-drag, you can get with one of these numbers. And I made a video on how to configure these, actually install them. This guy has GPS to add a little bit more capability. But Tony G, again, who creates all these cool models, he sells these pre-built units. These are not cheap, but it does everything. It has an internal battery. It charges over USB-C. And it's got obviously the keyboard. And it still will connect via Bluetooth if you just want to use the application on your phone. Now, because I have multiple devices here, I can see them as different ones that are on, and I can get different information from them when they're connected to each other. So these are all meshed together right now. So that's the simple way to use this. There's nothing really more complicated than that. They are now communicating, and so you could clip this to a dog or a child, or give this to your wife to stay in communication. Of course, standard RF principles are required here. If you want your signal to get out better, you need a better antenna, or the best antenna. You need to get it up as high as possible for line of sight. I have these longer antennas in my Amazon store, and I generally put them on the nodes that are going to be a little bit more effective, or that I may put in a location and leave for an amount of time. These will charge over USB-C, and you can attach a USB solar panel so long as it provides 5 volts-ish, and it should charge the battery that's in this guy. Actually, all of them have internal batteries, and they are this type of battery, this 3000 milliamp hour Maker Focus. I like these guys. You can modify these as well to take 18650 batteries, which is a lot safer because they usually have charge protection. So really, the sky's the limit here right now with this stuff, and there's people that are doing amazing things, creating solar-powered Meshtastic nodes, which I will also post the link to if you are so inclined to get yourself a solar-based setup, which is really, really nice. This guy is pretty cool. It comes with his own antenna as well. So yeah, there's a number of options that are out there and available for you. All right, so that was my quick and dirty on how to get started in Meshtastic. I will post all the pertinent links in the description below. If you have questions or comments, I've probably covered them in some of my other LoRa Meshtastic videos, so I have links for all of those as well in the description. You might want to check those out. It is actually an incredibly simple system. There is complexity deep in the settings, but once you get it going, just for sending the messages back and forth, it's really straightforward. For those that are asking, like, well, can you do voice? Can you do this, that, or the other? No, this is for text messaging, right? Meshtastic is for this text transfer. And that's why it kind of can go so far over that LoRa network, is it's got a really cool way of retransmitting messages and doing forward error correcting to make sure that you're getting your messages out there. Voice requires a lot more bandwidth, and because of the information exchange, it's a lot more difficult, requiring more power than these units are really designed for. Hey, I hope this was helpful. If you got started on Meshtastic because of my videos, I'd love to hear about it, and any of your comments related to this video would be appreciated as well. I'm Josh, KI6NAZ. You're watching the Ham Radio Crash Course. Thanks so much for doing so. 73.